Hello again, everybody. It's me. I'm back. Um, I'm just going to do a quick review for you on the Illamasqua Skin Base Foundation, which came out recently to tumultuous sort of hype and publicity and whatever. Illamasqua came out with this about a month ago, and the premise was when they released it, it was supposed to be based on BB creams, which are kind of beauty balm creams, I think. Basically, they're like foundations with added skincare benefits. Now, I don't own any. I've never experienced a BB cream, so I don't know whether they are similar or not to this foundation. One thing about BB creams is that they do contain SPF generally, and this does not contain SPF. This foundation cost me £25 from illamasqua.com. It is in the shade 6, which is a neutral shade, and that is why I chose it, because it was neutral. It comes in, I believe, 18 different shades from white to extremely dark. And very usefully, the shades are comparable to other foundation shades, and they have comparison charts on the website where you can look and see, comparing what you normally would wear, say in MAC or NARS or whatever. Then you can try and decide what shade would suit you best. 30 mils, and yeah, as I say, £25. So it's not a cheap foundation. It is reasonably expensive. But people like me just can't keep their money in their pocket and cannot contain their curiosity. So I went and I got it. So basically, this is a water-based, it's oil-free as far as I know. It is very, very silicone rich. So the silicone makes it smooth and blendable. I'll just show you there. There's shade 6. And I'll just blend it out a little bit, and you can see that it does give very good coverage. Okay, see, really, you can barely see the blood vessels in my hand now. It's quite a certainly medium to full coverage foundation, I would think. Now, according to Illamasqua, it gives a totally realistic skin-like finish, no matter how much you put on of it, no matter how many layers you build up. This dries very fast. Now, I don't know whether that's because it has a high alcohol content, but I would suspect, certainly with that amount of, with that speed of drying, that there would be a reasonable alcohol content in it. I could be wrong, but that's what I would suspect. It dries to a sort of a dewy finish, and it certainly is not one that covers skin texture. Now, it's very hard to cover skin texture anyway, but it does cling to every little line, and it will show through. Your pores will show through. Fine lines will show through this foundation. However, it does give a very nice semi-dewy finish, with very good coverage of uneven skin tone. If you apply a second layer of it, it doesn't tend to get cakey, which is great. I think probably the silicone is what's doing that. It's just another layer of silicone sitting on top of the initial layer of silicone. So it just blends together quite nicely. For dry skin, I think this would probably be a no-no, because I feel myself it would probably cling to dry patches quite noticeably. And as an experiment, I sort of just left off any base, any moisturizer, put it on, and certainly on my forehead where I'd have few dry patches, it definitely did cling to those and make them noticeable. So if you're going to use this, I would say you should certainly exfoliate well and use a primer underneath it. In terms of lasting power, it lasted on me for, I'd say, about 6 hours, which is not bad. Probably a little more than that. So it lasted for most of my working day, I would think. Certainly on my nose, my kind of oily area, I found it got a little bit shiny after a while, but any silicone-rich foundation will do that, I find. So what I took to doing was applying primer to my cheeks, my forehead and my chin, and leaving the primer off my nose and just applying the foundation directly, and it did make a difference. For applying it, fingertips work really well. Blended in very nicely. Beauty Blender sponge worked quite well also, and those were the two best methods. The brush was okay, buffing brush was okay. I think if you have really good skin, a buffing brush would, do a very good job. For me, I thought the Beauty Blender or fingertips were best. Would I say there are any big disadvantages to this foundation? I think the price, and I think the fact that if you have any dry patches, it's going to cling to them like a bitch. Other than that, no, I think it's an excellent foundation. Definitely the best Illamasqua one that I have tried. It is good for, I would think, normal to combination skin. I think anyone with very oily or very dry skin is going to have some problems with this foundation. But those are the two types of skin that would have most problems with any foundation anyway. Other than that, I think it's great. The shade range is fantastic. There really are a lot of shades available. As I say, this is number 6, which is a very light neutral shade, and you can see on my hand it's covering it really well. It's quite hard to tell actually that I have foundation on there because the color match is very good. On my face, it's possibly a little bit light for the summer. The shade is slightly light for the summer, but I don't mind that because in the winter time I will get lots of use out of this. I will definitely use this foundation up. I probably wouldn't repurchase it because it didn't blow me away. It just didn't look as natural on me as, say, the Chanel Vitalumiere Aqua or the Makeup Forever Face and Body. Those are the foundations that I find to be the most natural. This is getting there. It's quite a good, smooth application, good coverage, but not as totally brilliant as it was cracked up to be. Certainly the hype is not, I think, 100% deserved. I think you could probably get something cheaper that will look as good. Bourjois have some fantastic drugstore foundations, which I think probably have a better texture than this. That's really all. If you want to ask me any questions about it, let me know. As I say, I will use this up. I quite like wearing it. It's comfortable to wear, and I've no particular problems with it, but certainly not in my top 3. But you could find something completely different. So that's really all. That's my review. I've used it for quite a lot, several days. I did try it. I wore it, and those are my thoughts on it. So let me know if you've tried this yourself, what you think of it. And as I say, if you want to ask me any questions, just give me a shout. So that's all. So take care, everyone, and thanks for watching. Bye bye.